What if you could create a soft, elegant floral background with just the right touch of sparkle without it ever feeling overdone? Well, today I'm sharing exactly how to do that using some gorgeous new products from the latest Simon Says Stamp Happy Everything release. Hello, crafty friends. I'm Revati and welcome to my crafty space. In today's video, I'll show you how I created a beautiful floral card featuring a soft, layered background with a subtle hint of glitter and shine. If you love clean and elegant cards with a little bit of sparkle, then you're going to enjoy today's project. So let's get started. Before we actually jump into today's project, let me give you a quick look at some of the fun new products from this release. I'll be featuring all of these in my upcoming videos, so be sure to stay tuned. Let's start with this absolutely gorgeous Flourish Hummingbird die set. Now, I instantly fell in love with this one. It features that beautifully detailed hummingbird with delicately etched floral designs throughout its body and wings. Now, the set includes three wafer dies that can be layered to create a stunning focal point, and it would be beautiful as elegant accents on your floral cards or garden inspired scenes. Now, next up is the paper cut messages stamp set, and I have a feeling this one is going to get a lot of use. It's a 4 by 6 inch stamp set filled with six versatile everyday sentiments, and I absolutely love the font. They are bold, modern, and perfect for so many different occasions. Coordinating dies are available that perfectly cut out each of those sentiments. Next, we have the circle braids embossing folder, and I absolutely love the texture this one creates. It features a beautiful pattern of concentric braided circles nestled closely together, covering an entire card panel with lots of eye catching detail. The repeating design adds wonderful depth and interest without overpowering your design. Now, one of my favorite things about this pattern is that you can easily use the center of those circles to highlight your focal point images or even your sentiments. Next, we have the Sweet Blooms Stencil Set, which is the star of today's project. Now, this is a product that we'll be using to create our card. It is a set of three layering stencil that builds a beautiful overall pattern of clustered leaves and leafy foliage. As you layer each stencil, the design really comes to life, creating a soft, full floral background with lots of depth and dimension. These stencils are incredibly versatile too. You could use your favorite ink blending techniques, stencil pastes, or even sprays to achieve a variety of beautiful looks. Next, we have the oak leaf stencil and die set combo. Now, this set features a collection of layering stencils that create a large dimensional oak leaf with those beautiful realistic shading and intricate details. Now, once you've finished the stenciling, the coordinating die cuts out the completed leaf perfectly, making it easy to add layers and dimension to your projects. Now, here you'll see I have four stencils, which is perfect for creating that beautiful layered look. The set also includes a beautiful script which says blessed sentiment along with a coordinating shadow die, giving you a polished focal point that's perfect for both seasonal and everyday cards. I can already think of so many creative ways to use this particular set. I also think this set would be absolutely perfect for your fall theme projects. Just imagine ink blending those layering stencils with the rich autumn shades like golden yellow, warm oranges, deep red, and earthy tones. Paired with that coordinating bless sentiment, I think it would be ideal for your Thanksgiving cards, gratitude projects, seasonal home decors, or even your everyday cards with a warm nature inspired feel. The last product I have to share is this Woodland Friends stamp set. This is a large 6 by 8 stamp set filled with the sweetest storybook style woodland illustrations. It features an adorable collection of forest friends, including a deer and a bunny, a bear with his tiny mouse companion, an owl and a mouse, a fox with a hedgehog. Each image is full of charm and personality. The set also includes several heartfelt sentiments along with smaller accent images like hearts, flowers, mushrooms, and a tree so you can mix and match the elements to build your own whimsical woodland scene. And just like many of the other products in the release, coordinating dies are available, making it easy to cut out all the stamped images for added dimension on your cards. Now that we've taken a look at the new products, let's get started with today's card. Now, I'll be creating a beautiful floral background using the Sweet Bloom Stencil Set. As I mentioned earlier, this is a set of three layering stencils, and one of the things I really love about it is that the layering process is incredibly forgiving. It really doesn't matter which stencil you start with because they are very easy to line up, making this a wonderful set for both beginners and experienced crafters. I started with an A2 size panel and I stuck it on my ultra sticky mat and placed the stencil that features the leafy foliage over it. From there, we can begin building our beautiful floral background one layer at a time. For this particular card, I wanted to keep the color palette very soft and subtle. I'll be using the Simon Says Positively Saturated inks for all of my ink blending today. Now for the leafy foliage, I reached out for my absolute favorite green combination, which is field and pine. I began by blending field all over the leaves, making sure to cover every open area of the stencil for an even layer of color. Once that was done, I switched to a smaller blending brush and then used pine to add just the lightest touch of shading at the base of each of those leaves and foliage cluster. This simple bit of ink blending adds a beautiful sense of depth and dimension while still keeping the overall look really delicate and soft. The second stencil layer adds those beautiful flowers along with some delicate dotted details. And for this layer, I wanted to bring in a soft touch of warmth with a pretty yellow and orange color combination. Now, just like we did with our foliage, I used two different shades to create some subtle depth in our flowers. I started with a soft yellow blend using citrine and zest, making sure to cover all the floral areas on the stencil with an even layer of color. Now, once the yellow was down, I just wipe my stencil a little bit just to take off all that yellow so that I don't contaminate my orange blending brush. And then I added the slightest hint of orange sherbet at the base of each of those flowers and also over all the small detailed dotted elements that are included in this stencil layer. Now, this little touch of orange helps add dimension while keeping both the overall floral background soft and delicate. The third and final stencil layer also adds more detail to the flowers, and for this layer, I wanted to bring in a completely different color while still keeping the overall palette soft and cohesive. I decided to go with beautiful shades of pinks using rose and peony. These colors add that perfect hint of bright, cheerful color to the floral design while still maintaining that soft and delicate look that I was going for. I kept the blending light and subtle, allowing each layer of the stencil to complement the others. The combination of the green, warm yellows, and soft pinks creates a beautiful, clean and simple floral background with just the right amount of dimension. If you wanted to, you could absolutely leave the panel as is and simply mount it on your card base. The floral background is already beautiful on its own and almost feels complete. But I wanted to add a little more texture and interest to this otherwise clean and simple design, so I decided to die cut the panel using these sparkler scallop frames. Now, this gives the edges a beautiful decorative frame detail while still allowing the gorgeous floral pattern to remain the star of our cut. I also made sure not to throw away the remaining piece from this frame. Instead, I placed the entire assembly back onto my ultra sticky mat because we are going to bring our stencils back one more time to add a little extra shine and sparkle to all these beautiful flowers. Now, before bringing the stencils back in, I made sure to clean them really well so there wouldn't be any leftover ink transferring onto my project. Once they were dry, I carefully lined them up back on the stencil image. Now for this next step, I wanted to add some beautiful sparkle and shine, so I decided to use the Lawn Fawn Fairy Dust stencil paste. Of course, you could use any glitter or shimmer paste you have in your stash, but I love the subtle sparkle this one adds. Use a palette knife to apply all of that paste through the open areas of the stencil, starting with my pink flower layer. Now, what I love about using the stencil paste is that it adds a gorgeous glittery finish while still allowing those beautiful colors underneath to shine through. You can still see the soft dimension of the pink and, well, yellow and orange flowers, but now they have that extra touch of sparkle that really makes the background come to life. I let this panel dry completely before bringing in the next stencil layer. This will allow me to add even more sparkle and shine to the yellow and orange flowers without disturbing the first layer of glitter paste. I kept the panel right on my ultra sticky mat while working, and well, don't worry, none of that glitter paste got onto the mat or dried onto the surface. This is because I placed the leftover frame piece from our die cutting step back around the panel. This frame acted like a protective mask, shielding my sticky mat while also keeping everything perfectly in place. I love that I could leave the panel on the mat and continue adding each layer of glitter paste without having to remove and reposition it every time. It made the whole process so much more easier and helped keep all of those detailed stencil layers beautifully aligned. Just take a look at that gorgeous shine and sparkle on our floral panel. I absolutely love how the glitter paste adds that extra touch of magic while still allowing all those beautiful blended colors to shine through. Now, while my panel was drying completely, let's move on to our next step, which is adding our sentiment. For this card, I decided to use a sentiment, which is this absolutely beautiful thank you sentiment from the paper cut messages stamp set. I stamped the sentiment onto a piece of white cardstock using black pigment ink and added clear embossing powder before heat setting it. Now, this gave the sentiment that beautiful, glossy, raised finish that really helps it stand out in that around that beautiful floral background. Now, Simon Says Stamp does have coordinating dies available for this set that make cutting out each of those sentiments super easy. But since I didn't have the dies, I decided to fussy cut around the sentiment using my scissors. And well, if you know me, you know that fussy cutting is not usually my favorite thing because I don't always feel very confident doing it. But this sentiment was surprisingly easy to cut around and it really didn't take much time at all. Sometimes the simplest solutions work perfectly. You could absolutely choose to cut the sentiment into a simple rectangle or a sentiment strip as well. There are so many ways to customize it. Now, for my card, I wanted the sentiment to sit right in the center of that beautiful floral background. However, when I placed it directly onto the panel, I felt it was getting a little bit lost around that beautiful design. There was a lot of open white space around the sentiment, and it wasn't standing out the way I envisioned. So, to help it pop while still keeping the background visible, I decided to die cut a circle from vellum that was slightly larger than my sentiment. I added some foam tape behind my sentiment and adhered it onto the vellum circle, which created a soft layer of separation between the sentiment and that busy floral pattern underneath. Now, before adhering the sentiment circle onto my card, there was one final detail I wanted to add, which is a little touch of gold. So I wrapped some gold thread around my panel, which instantly elevated the design. It added just the right amount of elegance and helped highlight the sentiment without overpowering the beautiful floral background. Once the gold thread was in place, I adhered the vellum sentiment circle right over the top, making sure it was centered on this beautiful floral design. And with that, our gorgeous card panel was complete. Now, the only thing that is left to do is mount it onto a card base. I chose a soft, light pink cardstock for the base to coordinate beautifully with the delicate pink flowers and the subtle color palette that we created on our panel. And with that, we can definitely call this card complete. I love how this project combines the soft ink blending, layered stenciling, sparkle, and simple elegance to create a clean and beautiful floral card. And there we have it, a soft, elegant floral card featuring the beautiful Sweet Blossom stencil from the latest Simon Says Stamp Happy Everything release. I love how beautiful this turned out. The layering stencils, the subtle ink blending, touch of sparkle, and well, the glitter paste definitely adds that perfect hint of shine without taking away from the beautiful colors. And well, not to forget the vellum sentiment and the gold thread that adds that extra touch of elegance while keeping the floral design as the star of our card. I hope this project inspires you to try layering stencils in a softer color palette and add a little sparkle to your own handmade cards. I'll be sure to leave links to all the supplies that I used to create this particular card and all the products that I showed you in the beginning of the video, along with the link to the entire release. Please note that all of those links are affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I'll get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe.